Batman. So hi, welcome back to Into the Cina-Verse, and this is part 6 and the final part of the Batman series segment that we are doing. It is titled The Batman Predictions. Please, if you haven't seen part 5 or any other of the parts, click the links in the description below. The Batman Predictions.
Basically predictions in an opinionated way.
Yeah,
which
it's very informal.
there's no fan theory, it's just what
it's
we
just
think.
Our predictions, our opinions
Yeah.
of where we think the Batman franchise
Is
will
going to go.
and where we want it to go. Bruce Wayne, Batman, what do you think is going to happen?
If you've watched the other videos before, we did discuss certain things of how Batman will become and how Bruce Wayne now is going to change. And in more detail, I think Bruce Wayne will become more sociable.
Yeah.
So in this film, we didn't see Bruce Wayne that sociable, but now we're going to see him maybe become more involved in the business, maybe become more involved in social activity. But I do wish that he does not go to the extreme of like Christian Bale's Batman. I think I would want him to have a sort of balance where, yes, he is indulging in certain in the business, indulging in certain social activity. Maybe he doesn't become the full playboy. I don't really want him to become the full playboy. But he's still serious about the Batman, and his main focus is always the Batman. I think, and as a Batman, he would also evolve, because in the film we see he's very vengeful because of his parents. And at the end, we see him that now he understands that there are that he can help people, rather than his main focus starts to change more about the people and bringing them hope and inspiration. So I think Batman would become more of this ideology for hope in people's eyes rather than fear and vengeance.
Bruce Wayne will evolve, as you said, into this playboy kind of character that we know him to be. I think because not that he wants to, but that he needs to. More so because he was in a very close call about the reveal of his identity because of Riddler. So he knew that, for Batman, you have to be rich for the stuff that you have. Even Catwoman noticed from the way he talks. She told him, you probably grew up rich.
Yeah, it's very noticeable.
You just don't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. But it's only a matter of time until someone finds out that actually, listen,
and
Bruce Wayne
that's something
is Batman.
that I do like about this film, is that before it was so obvious that certain parts in Christian Bale's Batman, that it was so obvious that there were times that you could have clicked it was Bruce Wayne, and people didn't. But here there are certain hints that certain characteristics
that he was the only
Bruce Wayne kind of. There's still that, and I hope I'm not saying Bruce Wayne's identity will be revealed, but it will still keep on people being suspicious. It
was very suspicious, kind of, and it's a surprise that they didn't go into it much. That he was the only victim of Riddler that didn't die.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he wasn't there.
That's true.
He was Batman. It was a very close call, and he would be trying to become a totally different character than he is. A totally different version of Bruce Wayne in order to throw people off. Because people wouldn't think twice that Bruce Wayne, he is this arrogant, narcissistic playboy, obsessed with money, that this guy is a Batman. They won't think twice about it. And even Batman will evolve. Batman, we've seen him do a couple of mistakes in the first film, because he's only been doing this for 2 years, and he's human. He's going to make mistakes. But I think he will become this Batman, this near perfect person that doesn't do mistakes or rarely does mistakes, that he is ready for every sort of scenario that he can think of. We will see him change throughout the course, especially if they introduce Robin, because he
Alright.
will become a sort of father figure that he only had in Alfred in a way, even though he wasn't very much of a father. We'll see that evolution from both the side of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Villains, upcoming villains. Matt Reeves said he really wants Mr. Freeze for his second film. And he said that it's quite difficult because of the like grounded realism he wants to take with his villains.
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze is
it'd
kind
be
of difficult.
to do that. I think it would be between Mr. Freeze if he actually manages, or Joker. And personally, I do hope Joker comes in the second film with Riddler.
So like for example, me, I want Scarecrow. I
Yeah.
want a Batman. I'll say it now, I'll say it again. I've been saying it for 1,000 times. I want a Batman Scarecrow horror film.
The way how Batman is at the moment, there is this horror aspect
But
to
it's
it.
not
It's
full on
No,
horror.
obviously it's not full on horror.
I
but
want full on horror.
But since they introduced that sort of characteristic in this Batman, it is very easy to do Scarecrow now and make him into like it's a horror Batman Scarecrow film.
But I want like a full on horror, like the Conjuring horror, that level. Scarecrow should be that villain. We only
He has
got
the name Scare in
He's a
it.
scarecrow. That's the thing. He uses fear like Batman as a weapon. And I think it will suit Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah, it would suit his Batman more.
And then I would really love a Batman Court of Owls film.
I think that will come later on, really later on.
And I would really love these two, even in minor appearances, right? So like Falcone and Penguin. I would really love to see Hugo Strange and Mad Hatter. So yeah, maybe, who knows? But Scarecrow. Matt Reeves, if you're watching, I want Scarecrow.
I don't think he's going. I don't think anyone watches that big.
I know. We've
Contact Matt Reeves if you can, please. Thank you.
We've shouted out Matt Reeves, we've shouted out Andrew Garfield. None of them watch this podcast, I know they don't. But if somehow I want Batman Scarecrow film, 15 rated, R-rated if possible. Alright, we'll conclude this with our opinion on upcoming supporting characters. Who do you want to see?
I'm hoping that Robin will come in the next film more.
You know, up until now, there's only been one actor who has portrayed proper Robin live action, Chris O'Donnell,
Yeah.
in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Because and then you were going to mention Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I was going to mention that because once, so this is when it came out, when Dark Knight Rises came out, and I watched it, and obviously at the end, if you watched it, there is, he goes into the Batcave, and I was like, okay, now we're going to get a Robin and Batman, or at least a Robin film.
No, I really want to see Robin. And a kid Robin, a proper kid Robin, a teenage Robin.
I'm hoping that if they continue doing this, is that Robin, whoever it's going to be now, then leads to a Nightwing film.
Yeah, because and then there's this thing as well. But another Batman character that I would really like to see is Batman Beyond. Terry McGinnis Batman, and he's an original character of Batman Beyond the animated series. And then
Okay.
they made him into a comic. Are they related to the mainstream DC? So will we see Robert Pattinson's Batman in the Justice League further down the road? To be honest, I imagine him. Because right now we see him as this loner Batman. And then, okay, he does an exception and he partners up, he takes Robin under his wing. And then he kind of steps out of his shell and he becomes part of a team. He becomes part of the Justice League. I think that concludes
Our video today.
Yeah. So that brings an end to this video. Please join us in our next video when we will be predicting who will win Best Picture at the upcoming Oscars, and are also our reactions. So please like, comment,
And subscribe.
Batman!